Hello again, this is Old Man PHP. This is my third video and I want to discuss functions. I am breaking this function tutorial into two videos. If you remember on video 2, I created a PHP file and called it php test.php, which is right here. I also mentioned that I was going to show you how to create a crew project at the end of this course. You will learn how to read, insert, and delete from a database. You will learn how to create and read a JSON file and how to create reports and upload a file. This is the stuff that clients ask for all the time. With this project, you can create other projects that requires you to use a database. It is all there. But first, PHP functions are the real power. And you don't have to declare types for your parameters. We will discuss type hinting later. Let's continue. PHP has more than 1,000 built-in functions. I will discuss more about the built-in functions that PHP provide on another video. There's different types of functions like type parameters, return types, variable scope, anonymous function, variadic functions. What else do when it comes back, I will mention it. A function is a block of statements that can be used repeatedly in an application. A function will take parameters, do some calculations, and return the results. It does not execute automatically when a page loads. It executes when you invoke them. This is how it works. Let's create a function and call it add and put a parameter in it. Remember, parameters are what is declared in a function, and what you pass into the invocation is called arguments. Arguments by default are passed by values, which means that a function's arguments value is changed within the function, but it does not get changed outside of the function. So let me show you. Function add. I'm going to create a parameter a. This is curly brackets. This is the actual function, and now we're going to say var underscore dump. Remember that one? $a, and then we're going to add a plus plus, and then we're going to echo the something. We'll say something like echo check add 1 equals $a, which is the actual parameter, and that's basically it. And now this is a function, right? And we're going to call it in a few seconds, but I just want to show you that we're going to take this parameter, we're going to do a var dump. Remember the var dump from the other video? What it does is gives you the structure and the actual values, numbers. If it was a string, then it will give you the structure, and the actual value to the side, but it also gives you what the length is. Okay, so remember, like if I save this and I play it, it will give you nothing. Okay, because it's not doing anything, it's just sitting in memory. So now I'm going to assign a number to it, 5. Let's do 5. And then we're going to call it. We're going to say add $a. This is your invocation, which is the argument. We're passing an argument. And let's do a var just to see what it looks like after it has gone through this process. $a. Let's save it. Let's run it. Boom. But let's give it a little space here. Let's add a line break. Let's do it twice so it'll jump like. Okay, let's save it. Let's play it. Okay, here it goes. Shucks, we should do it over here too. Let's add it over here. Echo. Line break. There you go. See, once you assign a number to your variable and you pass that argument to the add function, it'll take that parameter, it'll give you what the dump is. That's what this is in 5, right? Then it's going to add 1 to this number 5, and then it's going to print it out. So if you look at it here, it did print it out, and it said that it's 6 because you added 1. Then after the function was finished, it continued, and then it gave me, I want another var dump, and it tells you, hey, it's 5. Wait a minute. How come it didn't change it to a 6? Why wasn't that able to do that? Because this information that's in here is within the scope of the function. This is the inner scope of the function, and anything that's outside this function is the outer scope. But because this is being passed by value, it's going to always use that 5 because it's going to go, oh, there it goes right here. But if you go up here and you add an ampersand sign, then you can pass it by reference. So if I save this, boom. It gives you, at first it gives me that my first dump, 5, add 1 to the A, which is here, plus when I do the dump again, it's going to say, hey, since I did change this, can I reference this instead? And it will, and it'll give you 6. See? That's how that works. It's fantastic. It's a good thing to know. Because you're going to need, I mean, you're going to create different types of projects, and you're going to want to know, hey, can I do this? Can I do that? And this is one technique that works. I love that technique. Now, let's continue with the functions parameter and that you pass by value. I am assigning an invocation to a variable. This will work. We're going to do a double, right? Let's clean this up. We're going to keep that A. I'm going to return. I'm going to use the return. We're going to say $A plus $B because we're going to add an extra. Let's get rid of this. I'm going to add here another one. $B equals, hey, I guess we can get rid of this. Let's do this, $B, and we're going to assign it to another. Just want you to know that we can also we can assign a function to a variable and run that variable. I'm going to echo this $. See? There you go. Now we're going to echo this guy. So the function is there, right? It's going to take two, you know something, let's not forget that B. Now we're going to save it, right? And this is your add 2525. It's going to do nothing really right now. It's just going to give you a problem because I'm not doing anything. So we got A and B, A and B, A and B. We got A. We can get rid of that. We don't need that. I'm going to put it in here. We're going to just put it straight through. But you get the message. You're going to put, let's see, 25. And then let's run it. It'll give you, of course, it'll give you the first dump. It'll give you both of them, 25, 25, plus the total, because this is what you return, right? Here's it's so nice is that you can, I mean, you can put a whole bunch of, you know, a lot more, you know, like C, D. I mean, you can do a lot. But right now we're just concentrating on those two. So pretty nice, right? Now here's a function that I'm going to create, and we're going to call it check me and we're going to echo out check me out, right? And then right here we're going to call it, what am I going to call it? How about if we call it in front? Let's do that. We're going to call this, see, just like JavaScript, PHP allows you to actually invoke a function even though it's not above it, even though you have not yet declared this. So if you run this, it's going to look for it, but because it goes fast, you create this function, it's going to work. It runs fast. That's why it works. You know, if you had like 1,000, or maybe it would not work, but I think it would. It'll work real quick, goes into the memory, and it does it. But I prefer to do this instead. Always do the declaration first, which I prefer, and then do the invocation right after. It's like, hey, look, it's here. You create it, and then you run it. Makes sense, right? Okay, and you can also add a function within the check me. So let's go here and let's add a function. We can say function, and we'll call it no check me. Excuse me. Let's bring that down. Now let's echo something. I'm going to say check me out. You know something? Let's add some line breaks. All right, it's going to call me this. It's going to do this. It's going to be the same thing. Save it. Boom. Nothing has changed because when you ran this function, it's only going to do this. This is just a function. It's just sitting there. It's not doing anything. But if you want to call it, then you have to put it in here. See, in this, remember I told you that you got prefer the declaration on top of that. Well, this will not work. This will not work. See, you got an error because it's looking for this, and since this has not run yet, this is just sitting there. This cannot go through this guy to get to this guy. You need to run this guy, this function, for this function to be declared. So what you do is you take this function, the invocation, put it in front of that one. Let's take this out. Let's go like this. Let's save it. Boom, it did it. How about if we just put number 2 right here? Number 2, see? What happened was this invocation called this guy. Then, since this was already declared, now it's out there in memory, then you'll be able to call them. Now, you can also add you can invoke the function. You can add another function within that function, but you can also call it from within that function. So if you're here, I mean, we can do it here. Let's put it over here. I can call this guy. I can go like this, call him right from within. See, I don't need to call this guy anymore. I could just get rid of this. You know why? Because this check me will run this, it'll declare this, it'll print this out, and then it'll run that. So if you save it, boom, nothing has changed. Everything will look nicely. Okay, and this is a